and Guidelines Overview webinar with SWE HQ. And my name is Drew Navolio. I'm the Director of Marketing for the Society of Women Engineers, and I have three other panelists with me today who will introduce themselves.
Hi, I'm Karen Hording, Executive Director and CEO at the Society, and I welcome everyone to our branding webinar.
Hi, I'm Jessica Rano. I'm FY17 President of the Society of Women Engineers, and I also would like to welcome you to our webinar.
And I'm Ron Zawicki, VP of Creative Services for the David James Group, the Society of Women Engineers marketing partner, and look forward to presenting this to all of you on the phone.
Great. So again, welcome. I would like to point out we will have a Q&A at the end. This webinar is being recorded. We will make it available on the SWE.org website. We'll remind you of that when we get to the end as well. And to kind of start us off, I'm going to hand it back to Jessica, just sort of a intro and kind of let everyone know what today is all about.
Thanks, Drew. So as I introduced myself before, I'm FY17 President of the Society of Women Engineers. And it's really exciting to talk about our brand identity. We're about 2 years in to having our new logo and overall brand that got a refresh. And being on the board of directors at the time we discussed this, it was really exciting to promote this new image for SWE, to modernize our image and to make sure that we stay relevant as a professional society. This webinar is to help promote how to utilize our image to gain maximum impact, how to maintain a consistent image for both your sections, regions, and the society. And, by having this consistent image, it's the same around the globe. When I was just in India, and we had the same, branding there as in the U.S., and it's great to see, SWE being consistent. So I'm very excited to talk to you about this topic today, and I will turn it back over to our excellent marketing team folks to walk us through the identity system.
Great, thanks, Jessica. And again, just a reminder, if you missed it or I didn't mention it, if you do have questions, we will have a Q&A at the end of the webinar, but please go ahead and enter them in the chat box as they come up. We'll address those questions first, and then as more come up, please go ahead and also enter them in the chat box. So if you're looking at your screen, you'll see a little bit of a review of what we're going to cover today. As Jessica mentioned, this is sort of an initiative to continue to remind people about the importance of the brand and how to use it. We've had a lot of success with rolling out the brand, a lot of acceptance from regions, affiliates, sections, and MALs. But in some cases, there's still some education that needs to be done. And as Jessica also pointed out, it's very important that our brand is consistent, not just when headquarters or a national event is going on, but when all of our sections and supporters are representing the organization and representing the work they do. The image is consistent, and it's important to us because we do a lot of great work and all across the globe, and letting people know who we are and not having a lot of confusion is very important in this day and age with the amount of organizations that are out there and just the general marketplace. So we're going to run through the master brand. We're going to go through some documents, which all of what you'll see today for the most part is available in the current brand guidelines document. We'll reiterate brand.swe.org is a website you can go to. It's part of SWE.org. It's a custom URL, but it will take you right to where you can download all of the assets and the brand guidelines. So a lot of reiteration today, just some reinforcement of things that we've seen, a lot of conversation. I would say, Karen, maybe more conversation since the brand with groups reaching out to HQ and asking, we want to use the logo, but we want to make sure we're doing it right, which is fantastic. We absolutely encourage that conversation to be happening.
Yeah, we're here as a resource, so I think any questions that anybody has, and I think Drew's going to mention that we'll be doing a session at U17 in Austin, but really here to be a resource, and we'd rather have members and leaders ask questions and make sure they're representing the brand properly, than not asking and having it be incorrect.
Right. So we will run through, you'll see the first part there on master brand. Ron will lead that discussion, and then we'll go into section and affiliate use of logo, do's and don'ts. We have some few examples that we'll reference as conversation topics so you can see what some sections are doing, what still constantly, or what would constitute a violation, and also going a little bit some of the violation of the brand use and some of the discussions we're having on some potential tweaks. Then we'll reiterate the brand identity system. As Karen pointed out, we have some programming that's going to be available at U17 this year, a new product that we'll at least be able to announce to everyone on the call today. It will be formally announced to all of the membership leading up to the conference, and then we'll get into some questions. So hopefully a valuable call, but we'll get through things, and hopefully everyone comes away with something. So Ron, if you want to take it over, and we'll kick it off.
Thanks, Drew. So the first part of the presentation, as outlined in the agenda, is the discussion of the master brand. Well, what is master brand? We use that term as an encompassing term that really is, you could think of it as the logo. It's the main logo for the Society of Women Engineers. So we're going to talk through that and go through some specifications and other usage of the master brand. So on this slide, you'll see the master brand, which has been out in the marketplace for about, like Jessica said, about 1.5 years now, almost 2 years. And a master brand in the Society of Women Engineers world is comprised of really 3 elements. And those 3 elements are the logo mark, which is that gear symbol, which of course is a reference to the past brand and heritage. And that logo mark is broken into 3 segments: the yellow, the purple, and the gray. Those 3 segments also can represent aspire, advance, achieve. We've used that as a way to inspire what that logo mark is about. The next piece is the logo type. That's the typography. That's the acronym of SWE in the lowercase font. And then the third component in this master brand, in this version of the master brand, is the tagline: aspire, advance, achieve. So when you take all those components and put it together, that is the SWE master brand. And again, why is it important to have a master brand that's consistent? As Jessica pointed out, it's a global representation of the organization. It's consistent, and its consistent use reiterates that we are a professional organization with many touch points, and wherever our members, non-members, stakeholders, whoever they might be, interact with the Society of Women Engineers brand, they come away with a consistent impression that is professional, exciting, and vibrant. This slide is an overview of preferred use of logo. The default logo, as we call it, the primary use of the logo is the SWE logo with the Society of Women Engineers spelled out and the tagline. I'm going to go over in a moment some size guidance to know when and where to use this full version of the logo, because we do have 3 versions of the logo. We have what you see with the logo, the full name spelled out, and then the tagline. We have another version where we drop the tagline and we have the acronym and the Society of Women Engineers spelled out. And we have a third version that is just the acronym SWE and the gear logo mark. And again, I'll talk about that in a moment in terms of when and where that's best used. On your left, an acceptable use is that third iteration I mentioned, where it's the acronym and the gear. That may stand on its own and be used without the name and the tagline, in any case, to represent the Society of Women Engineers. On the right, what we indicate is not acceptable, and this is important, is that the logo mark is not to be used separately from the acronym or from the logo to represent the Society of Women Engineers. And I've got a good example of that on the next slide in terms of what that means. But in a nutshell, we don't want to use just the gear logo mark as a way to represent SWE. We're not Nike. We're not at that point where we've had billions of dollars to brand the agency and a swoosh can be submitted for the society. So it's important to keep that in conjunction with the acronym. And then likewise, below that, the logo type is never to be used by itself. So you should never use the SWE logo type as it's designed here to represent the society. Now, if you type SWE and copy, that's fine, but it's not to be used as a logo type by itself. And as Drew pointed out, we will have question and answer period later, so if you have any questions on any of these comments, please submit them. So on the next slide, what I wanted to do is illustrate my point on the logo mark. This was a hat that was done, and it looks beautiful. It's got the logo mark on it, front and center. And, well, it looks great. It technically is in violation of the rules because this is the only element on this hat that is used to represent the Society of Women Engineers. Drew mentioned that we're going to be making some updates to the brand, and one of the things we're going to clarify is that had this been used as a design element in conjunction with the overall logo, it'd be a different story. But because it was used as the sole representative element, it's in violation. So we wanted to share this as an example of how and why the logo mark should, not be used on its own.
Yeah, and Ron, just to make a point here, I think when Drew and I talked about this, if on the back perhaps it would have had, or on the side, Society of Women Engineers and the full logo or something, it would have been compliant. But the fact that it was just the logo mark alone without anything else is what made it non-compliant.
Exactly. Thanks, Karen. And as we said, we'll be outlining that in the brand guidelines to make that clear. The next slide, I alluded to some configuration and size guidance. And again, this is all information pulled from the brand guidelines. But this is a very helpful chart because what it does is it shows you that we've specified what version of the logo to use at different sizes. And that's important because if you try to take the full master brand with the acronym, the spelled out name, and the tagline and make it super tiny, we lose legibility, and that is not something we want to happen. It makes it hard to read. So on the left side, when you're using the logo in a print application, on a postcard, on a t-shirt, on a poster, whatever it might be, you're going to want to follow these guidelines. So when the logo is used more than 1.5 inches or 4 centimeters, the preferred use is the complete master brand. Whenever the logo is used less than 1 inch, wider than 1 inch and less than 1.5, we prefer you to use the acronym with the full spelled out name. And then when the logo is used less than or equal to 1 inch, then you should just use the acronym and the logo mark. The minimum size, the smallest the logo should ever be used is a half an inch. And this accommodates smaller brandable items like pens and whatnot. So this is a great reference point to know when to use the right size of the logo. Now, the one thing I said back on the previous, or 2 slides ago, is that the complete master brand is the preferred use. That said, it is appropriate and okay to use the version as just the logo mark and the logo type, the small version, in addition, or you can use that by itself to represent the society, and it can be used larger. The preferred use is when it's spelled out, but it's okay to use just the logo mark and the logo type. But again, if you're looking at these sizes, it gives you guidance. On the right, this is used in the electronic world, so on websites, emails, so on and so forth. There's some guidance here. So it's a little bit different in that we converted it to pixels, but it provides the same guidance for you. On this slide, what we wanted to do is talk about clear space. We put thought into how the logo interacts with elements around it. We want to make sure that the logo is never crowded, never squeezed and contained. So what we've done is provided users guidance on how to determine how much space around the logo is enough. And the way it works is, you'll see in this illustration, when you take the E of the logo and you cut it in half, so it's just the top part, the height of that E, that part of the E, is the width around the logo you should keep for clear space. So no other element, no typography, no visuals, no other graphical elements should violate that clear space. And that's important, again, because if you get too crowded, it lessens the impact of the overall logo. So please look at that and keep that in mind when you're designing anything with the logo. And by the way, this all applies to the section and affiliate logos as well. So these same sizes and parameters apply to that. The centering of the logo, we provided guidance here because the way the logo is designed, if you were to center it off the box in which the logo lives, it sometimes appears off-centered because it is a little bit left-heavy with the gear on the left. So what we recommend and what we want you to do is whenever you need to center the logo, center it off the middle of the W in SWE and SWE, not off the center of the box. So if you're in, for example, PowerPoint and you're putting the logo in, use that W as your center point, not the center of the box that contains the logo. On the other side, on the right, size ratio, I'm not going to go through this in detail, but I will point this to you for good reference. Obviously, it would be nearly impossible to tell you all the exact sizes, and we don't want to have to do that in every single use. But these size ratio guidances give you a good indication of how big the logo should be in relation to the element you're working on. So for example, under common formats, including letter, legal, tabloid, any type of those pages, the width of the master brand should be around 1/5 of the width of the application. For example, the logo would be around 1.7 inches on an 8.5 by 11 paper. And we provide that so that you don't have this giant logo that's overtaking the design. The logo needs to live within its clear space. It needs to be prominent, but it shouldn't be the dominant image generally in a layout usage. So please refer to the size ratio if either you're doing a layout or you're having somebody do a layout for you. This is some good guidelines in terms of how big the logo should be. And of course, and we'll share it at the end, if there's ever a question on any of this, you can reach out to us and we can help you with guidance on that. So that's the full master brand. There's more details in the brand guidelines, but this is a good general overview. Now we're going to go into the section affiliate logo do's and don'ts. Prior to the rebrand, there were a number of logos out there that were created for the sections. And there were some creative logos out there, and we know it added some personality. But one of the things that was very important in the rebrand was to create a consistent brand across all touch points for the Society of Women Engineers. And we know that a big touch point for most people is at the grassroots level, at the section level. So it's important that when someone first encounters a brand, they encounter a brand that we feel is professional and appropriate. So that's why we went through at the time and since then, and we created more than 400 different versions of the logos for each section and affiliate. And those logos are available for use, and we are seeing awesome adoption of that, and we appreciate that. But with that said, I did want to reiterate some of the do's and don'ts of the logo usage. We're not going to touch on region. This is a little older, but we will talk about section. As I mentioned, each section has an official logo that's been created for them in several different formats. And the way it works is it's the master brand minus the tagline, so Society of Women Engineers is spelled out with the name of the section, whether it's professional or a collegiate section, spelled out right aligned. We do include some typography direction, but again, you shouldn't have to do this because the logos have been already created for you. We've also included on the right some examples of international affiliate logo uses that we've created, where we've included the name of the country and then the section, whether it's a city or a region or other nomenclature used within that space. That's how the affiliate logos, international affiliate logos, have been created. And you'll look below that in red. We also provide some more size usage that goes in conjunction with page 14 that I just went over. So that's the international and the section logos, the official logos. Below that, you're going to see these are some examples that we had included in the brand guidelines that were previously created. And we just share these to show that these types of logos are no longer in compliance with the official brand and should not be being used. Again, every section has a logo available to them, and if you have any questions on how to find that, you can reach out to us using the information we'll provide at the end of the presentation. So you should not be creating custom SWE logos. Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, so also on this point, it is something that we still see. I mean, fortunately, as I mentioned before, I think the conversation between SWE's marketing and all of the membership who are using the brand has definitely become more vibrant. But that being said, we still are finding or coming across and are seeing at events. We saw a few examples at the U17 conference this year where these similar type sort of custom logos are being made. So I guess the request would be, to those on the phone, and what we'll continue to sort of preach is, if your section or your region or your affiliate is, or MAL construction of the logo is integrating some design that is not part of SWE, there are ways to do that and still follow the guidelines, but the merging of images with the logo is just something that is not something we want to see. So if we don't know if these logos are changed, I think Santa Clara definitely has. I think they're Santa Cruz. They're using their new logo. If you see it, please be a champion for that. You can always send it along and let us know. We're happy to reach out and notify groups that they need to address sort of the appearance of their logo.
Yeah, thanks, Drew. And to Drew's point, we've gotten some great emails, and we've been able to work productively and collaboratively with different representatives and help them achieve the goals they want to achieve, yet be brand compliant. And I should also reiterate, again, this is, the new brand that's been in place for a year and a half, so any prior usage of the old logo should be completely discontinued. We know there was still some swag with the old logo at U17, and we understand there's still things that you may have in inventory, but at this point, really, the old logo should be completely phased out.
And I will point out, yes, the Region G logo you see there is not being used and is not since the new brand rollout. These were just examples of what we had seen going into the brand redesign 2 years ago, motivations or examples to show how we needed to address it. But I will reiterate that it is still fairly common, not necessarily in the region case, but as new sections come on, they may not be familiar with it, but definitely that Region G logo is no longer in existence or in use.
So we're going to go to the next slide. I'm going to turn it over to Drew. He's going to walk you through a little bit of a case study on SWE Toronto and a section there and how they worked with us to ensure that they were able to do a customized piece they wanted to do, yet remain in compliance with the brand. So Drew, I'll turn it over to you.
Yep. So you'll see the image on the screen. They had Toronto, and if anyone on the call is from the Toronto affiliate, kudos to you for at least reaching out. What you see is a slight modification or a correction of what they had originally submitted, and there were some spacing issues, but really to show you that they were able to introduce an element. They have the Seattle skyline. It's in the the Toronto skyline. The spacing is correct. They've used a reversed out version of their logo against a pattern background, but that is a approved pattern background. So this is a way that you can, there's some feedback was, well, we can't do much with it. This is a way to show you can add some character to the use of your logo. I believe Toronto uses this as their Facebook page profile cover or profile image. But it was a conversation. Toronto reached out. They said, we have some questions. This is our original interpretation of, how to use our logo. We provided them with some feedback, and they came back with this. And it was all on their own, and conducted with the membership and the ones who executed it. So just an example of, a way you can work with HQ, be in brand, but have a little uniqueness to where you are.
I just wanted to add real quick, there was an occasion, and I would think it was last year, within the last year, correct me if I'm wrong, Drew, where we did have a collegiate section reach out to us because they were doing something with their college, and there was questions on how to work our logo with the Collegiate's brand and logo. Again, if you have any questions on how that can be done or what the requirements are, please do reach out to us. And our goal is to, get you to a place where you're comfortable, you're happy with what you're doing, SWE's happy with what we're doing, and if there's a partnering organization, it all works together.
Yep, and if for the collegiates on the call, some universities have particular ways that their name needs to be treated. We're happy to kind of help you work through that process. Some universities are more diligent about the representation of when a group or a organization on campus says that they're part of that university but standing on their own, like a SWE group. We are happy to help you kind of navigate those waters as well. But always, I guess the bottom line is never be afraid to reach out to HQ if you have questions.
Thanks, Drew. So that's the master brand component of this presentation. The next section, we wanted to walk you through what we call the brand identity system. The brand identity system is comprised of the master brand, but beyond that, it's the different look and feel and assets, the overall approach to how we represent the Society of Women Engineers in the marketplace. And you've seen that all along through the use of this PowerPoint. This PowerPoint design is part of this brand identity system. So I'm going to walk you through a little bit about that. That's used primarily through HQ, but certainly, as you know, we've made PowerPoint templates and whatnot available to each section. The brand identity system is made up of a few components, and including this segmented line usage that we use here, and that line is used many different ways. I'm going to show you a couple of examples. In the PowerPoint, we use it to anchor the headline in the system, the logo, and other elements. The primary typeface for the brand, whenever you're doing something to represent SWE, in the brand guidelines, there's more information on the overall typography usage, but the primary typeface for SWE is Open Sans. Now, what's nice about Open Sans is that it is a Google font. It's completely free, and anyone can download it, whether you're a Macintosh user or a PC user. Open Sans will work on any platform. It's free. Just Google it, and you'll be able to download that. In addition to that, and by the way, Arial is an acceptable font too as secondary usage. We've also identified the gear pattern, as Drew alluded to, and that is available to download in different formats. It's used as a design element, so not as the main indicator of the society, so we're not not complying with our own brand guidelines. The color choice, the main three colors are the SWE purple, the SWE gray, and the SWE gold. And by the way, if you weren't familiar, the SWE gold is the same gold that was in the previous version of the logo, so that's sort of a heritage play there. It's a nice nod to our history. In the brand guidelines, there is a secondary palette and much more information on how to use color. So I refer you to that if you have any color questions.
That's a good point too, Ron, because one thing I've seen is some sections changing the colors to match, their school colors to make the logo like black and red or something like that, which kind of defeats the purpose of us having SWE colors. So I think that's a good point to, there is a color palette available in the brand identity. Right.
Thanks, Jessica. And, so that's a good point. One should never change the colors or any of the elements of the overall brand. And in the brand guidelines, there is a slide that tells you some more about what not to do with the logo.
Mm-hmm. And Ron, I'll add to that, and Jessica, thanks for the point, because it reminded me that also some of the conversations we've had with sections is that there's nothing against using your university colors as long as you're treating the logo correctly. So if you have a particular yellow or green or blue that's your campus, your official color, if you're using your logo mark for your section or your affiliate, as long as it's reversed out and treated, you can do that. And there are some instructions in the brand guidelines that talk about placing it on patterns and things like that. But altering the logo colors itself or any component of the font or any of that is what makes it a violation. There is the suite of colors if you're choosing to put your logo. That's what those are for, in a different color. But if you say it's red, you can put a reversed out white section logo on a t-shirt or a poster or a mug, as long as you're paying attention to that part of it. But just to kind of add to that point of changing the colors.
Thanks, Drew. I'm going to walk through a couple more pieces. This is the PowerPoint template, which we're using here. It is available for download on the brand.swe.org webpage, so you can download that. It's available in a standard 4x3 format, your traditional format, as well as the widescreen version that we're using for this presentation. There's several master pages, and it should be flexible enough for use for any usage. You can replace the official SWE logo with your section logo if you like. We've developed letterhead and other pieces of collateral that are primarily used by the headquarters, but this is just an example of how we've extended the brand and used the line and logo placement. You'll note in the bottom corner of the envelope we do have a single color version of the logo available in the purple, and that's the only official single color version. In terms of our color, is purple. There's black and white, but if you need color, purple's available. We've updated the website with the new identity, a couple other pieces, some email templates. You'll see how we've used the components of the brand and changed them around. It's a very flexible, modular type of approach. Altogether, there's some other elements here. And since we launched the brand, we've been moving forward and doing a lot of work, and just wanted to share some different examples of some of the advertising and social media graphics that we've created. You can see the logos used in the reverse, the lines there. It's been used in full color. There's a combination of the color line with the reverse logo. Various ways to do it, and it's how we've been using it. I'm going to turn over to Drew to talk about U17 and some other exciting things.
Yes, and I will make a correction on this slide. We just say this custom banner for sections, but it will be something that's for affiliates and males as well. But the U17 Workshop, basically what that is we're going to do what we're doing here a little bit more in depth. We will have the full marketing team on site. We'll also have some leaders there to support and answer any questions. But again, it's a part of this effort to continue to reinforce the importance and resources that are provided so that affiliates and sections and males look professional and prepared when they're using SWE material. But the custom banner was kind of a discussion we've had here with leadership. The idea being that we've obviously gone to the extent of making logos for each section, but that if you say you need a piece of marketing material and you don't necessarily have someone part of your group or your organization that is able to design material effectively, we are going to create a banner, and I think we have the next slide, Ron, has a picture of the banner. You'll see this banner here. We created it for Austin, Texas, and the Austin group, we're going to be showing this at the event since U17 is in Austin this year. Basically, you see Austin's logo at the top with the SWE tagline. This will be a banner where we basically make 400 plus versions of this. It's a I want to say it's a 3 by 6 foot banner, and every section will have their logo at the top. We will create a landing page on SWE.org where you'll be able to download the print file, and we'll also have producers and manufacturers. We're kind of looking right now so that we can get some competitive, cheap pricing. Usually these banners cost between $150 and $200. But it's something that you could have for a very long time. It's in brand, so this way there's no concern whether you're at a meeting or you're at up the orgs, an organization fair, you're meeting internally at a corporate office and you need some sort of representation of the brand. This can be used, and then there's no issues. You're safe with the marketing guidelines, and you've got a resource that looks clean, looks presentable. And it's just, obviously the cost is on the organization, but SWE is going to put forth to make sure it's a very 1, 2, 3 step process, and then you feel good about what you're using in terms of your representation of SWE. And that will roll out probably shortly after We17. So we'll introduce it at the We17 programming, and then after that, shortly after that, we will email the membership and the section leadership and affiliate leadership and let them know where they can download their file if they're interested in printing a banner. Again, the workshop will be called What the Spec, SWE branding, do's and don'ts for your section or affiliate. If you're a leader in your section or affiliate or in the MAL community, please attend or have someone from your leadership attend.
Yep, if you're working on something for your section or affiliate and you want to make sure it's in compliance or you're not sure how to make it compliant, this will be a great opportunity to bring that with you and talk with somebody from the marketing team face to face.
Yep. So moving on, we have my email is here. Please email me directly if you're having any issues, say you can't find your section or affiliate logo. Maybe you've worked on something recently that is out public facing and you're not totally certain if it is up to code. Let me know. We are happy to assist in, if it's also a technical problem, like say you don't have someone who's fluent in Photoshop or a design program, or we want our brand to look good, so we're happy to assist in any way possible. So we've reiterated the website. If you go to brand.swe.org, that's where all of the custom logos are. This PowerPoint slide that we did today will be available along with the recording. The graphics that Ron showed on the previous slide, the gear patterns in the purple and the gray and the gold, those will all be available there as well. In addition, we have letterhead and then of course the general PowerPoint template. So please share that address. If you have any issues accessing or downloading any files, you can email me directly. I'll send them to you personally. But any questions at this point? We only had a few and it looks like we've addressed all of them. If there are any at this time, please go ahead and submit them to the questions queue. We'll give you a minute or two here to submit. Otherwise, we really do appreciate everyone who came on the call today. For those who signed up and attended, you are our brand ambassadors, whether you know it or not, and sharing this information is very important, and we greatly appreciate you putting together the time and being aware of these things. It's a detail piece, but it's very important that SWE, and all people supporting the brand are aware of these guidelines and follow them.
Yep, and I think everyone who registered will get a link to the webinar recording, as well as Drew mentioned, the webinar recording will be posted to SWE.org.
And it doesn't look like we have any real questions coming through, so if something comes up that you think of, please email me. Ron, thanks for leading. Jessica, if you want to say anything.
Close this out. Yep, that would be great.
Thanks everyone that was able to attend today, or if you're watching this as a replay, thank you for watching. As I said in the beginning, the board of directors was really excited that we passed this, and also the senators, because the Senate is the ones that passed the new logo and branding initiative almost 2 years ago. And we've been excited to see as it's rolled out throughout the society. As you may know, I'm pretty active on social media, and so seeing all those logos and the way people are using them appropriately is really exciting. So I hope this has helped, and I can't wait to see our society continue to use this logo for the years to come.
Great. All right. Thank you all, and we look forward to hopefully seeing you throughout the year and down at in Austin at We17.
Yep. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.